What the Business YouTube, episode 40. My name's Jay Florida, and today's career of discussion is a plumber. So what is a plumber? A plumber is a skilled tradesperson who installs, repairs, and maintains pipes, fixtures, and appliances for water, gas, and drainage systems in residential or commercial buildings. They are responsible for ensuring systems comply with safety regulations and often work with pipes, tanks, and hot water units. Now, to give you a piece of history, indoor plumbing became common in American homes during the early to mid 20th century, particularly between the 1920s and 1950s. While urban centers saw adoption in the late 1800s, it did not become standard in rural areas until after World War II, with over 50% of homes having complete plumbing by 1940 and nearly universal access by the 1990s. Sir John Harrington, a 16th century English courtier and godson to Queen Elizabeth I, is credited with inventing the first modern water flush toilet in 1596. Known as the Ajax, his design featured a raised cistern and a small downpipe that allowed water to flush waste, though it took centuries for the invention to become widely adopted. A few basic requirements to becoming a plumber include obtaining a GED or diploma, technical training through a vocational school, entering an apprenticeship program, and state registration and licensing as necessary. Now, becoming a established plumber can take you anywhere from 4 to 5 years and cost you anywhere from $1,000 to $10,000 or more when considering education. As far as your range, as an entry-level plumber, you can expect to make $40,000 to $60,000, with a few things affecting how much you take home being union status, sector, certifications, overtime, and location. A day in life as a plumber can be described as physically demanding, a mix of indoor and outdoor work, unpredictable schedules, and tight and dirty spaces. As far as opportunity, anyone can become a plumber if they decide to do so. No barriers in the way. And for that reason, the plumber does score green for opportunity. As far as examples for this video, we are actually short a list. So if you're wanting some more information on what it's like being a plumber or even how to become a plumber, you can have that conversation with your local plumber the next time you have a busted pipe. Moving on to our fact moment segment of this episode, starting off with fact number 1. Most sewage pipelines are made of cast and ductile iron, which is renowned for its strength and longevity, lasting anywhere from 50 to over 100 years. Fact number 2. To dissolve moderate grease clogs in pipes, use a mixture of boiling water, baking soda, and vinegar, though pouring grease down pipes shouldn't be taken to any extremes. And fact number 3, modern toilets flush 1.3 to 1.6 gallons as compared to the 5 to 7 gallons before 1980. And for our last segment, before we move on to the circle of influence, starting off with respiratory issues as a result of inhaling various dusts and chemicals in tight spaces, long-term hearing loss from exposure to loud noises, musculoskeletal disorders from frequent kneeling, squatting, crawling, and awkward positions, and splash hazards from unclogging and pumping. As far as mitigation, you can wear personal protective equipment such as gloves, full face shields, earplugs, and coveralls. working in properly ventilated areas when possible or opting for a respirator, and taking adequate breaks and performing ergonomics. Now that does it for our primary segment. I'm gonna go ahead and give the floor to my co-host, let him take over for the Circle of Influence. What the business, YouTube? If you don't know, the Circle of Influence is a small compilation of statistics and ideas that may influence a person into or away from pursuing a certain career. Now, starting off the Circle of Influence, we have respect. Is this a career or position that brings me respect and dignity? Now, it's not always a pretty job, but it's one that we most certainly do need, especially as it relates to things like the flow of sanitation and being able to take a hot shower, which we very much appreciate in our modern day. For that reason, the plumber does score green. Moving on, we have growth. Is this a career or position that presents me with the opportunity to grow from $100,000 earning threshold? Now for this segment, the plumber does score red, with sources online maxing the plumber out at $150,000 per year. Next we have gore. Is this a career or position that will have me dealing with an abundance of blood, violent action, grotesque imagery, or scenery? For this segment, the plumber scores green, as in no, you will not be dealing with any of the mentioned before. And for our last ideological standpoint, we have moral conflict. Is this a career or position that will have me compromise any of my foreseeable morals? Don't lie, don't cheat, don't steal, don't kill. The basic set of guidelines. And for this segment, the plumber scores green. Moving on to the statistical side of things, we have gender demographics, where men make up 95% of the industry and women make up 5% of the total industry. Next, we have ethnic demographics, where Caucasians account for 63% of the industry, Hispanics account for 20% of the industry, and African Americans account for 10% of the total industry. And for our last standpoint, we have location demographics. Top paying states, no particular order, starting off with New Jersey, followed by Massachusetts and Illinois, and closing things out with Oregon and Montana. Now that does it for the Circle of Influence. I'm gonna go ahead and give the floor back to Florida. I'm back. Just to summarize the plumber. It's a career that not a lot of people, I imagine, give a first thought to. But if no one did it, where does that leave the bodily waste to go? Where do we get hot water and water in general just to shower and clean up, you know? And while you are maxed out at $150,000, it's definitely enough to make a comfortable living. Just don't expect to be cashing out on any private flights anytime soon. And as far as investing, it's really not so much, especially when compared to other careers. Now, with that being said, it does look like we have a full episode here today. The word of the day is paranoia. Self-help resources on the board. As always, I'll leave it down in the description. And to show your support, if you want to see this kind of content more often, make sure to comment, like, and subscribe. And I'll see you guys on episode 41.